Hello and welcome to the first episode of Game Breakers. Today we are going to be looking at the shinies in Pokemon Go, telling whether or not they are flops or whether they were successes. And we're not going to go through all of them. In this particular episode, we'll slowly work through some of them. Of course, I do not have every shiny, as there are a lot of shinies. And I am trading for more and more of them all the time, but it is a slow grind. So the first one we're going to look at is Abomasnow, which I really like what they've done with this one. My son is not a fan of it, but I like it. Snover's not much different, which is the unevolved version of Abomasnow. I like that they made the white more prominent, and they used a blue accent color to really make that white stand out. And they stuck with the Abomasnow theme, which is snow and ice Pokemon. So I like what they've done with this one. I think this one was a success. Absol is another one here. No evolution for this one, other than the Mega. And I'm not a fan of the coral color that they chose for here, but I give them props for changing the color and making it an obvious change. So that one there, kind of a success, but they could have done a little better with it. Next one is Excelgor, which is Shelmet's evolution. And I wish with this one that they had made the shell a different color to really make that stand out more as a shiny. But again, props, they did change the face color to yellow. So they didn't just darken what was already there like they've tend to do with some of the ones where they've copped out on. And so that one there, again, they did do some changes. So kind of a success. My favorite here is Aerodactyl. This one definitely is a success. And they changed the color completely, made it obvious that it is a shiny. And I really like what they've done with this one. No evolution with this one except for the Mega. But no unevolved version of Aerodactyl. And another one that I think that they did fail on this one is Agron, which is the evolved version of Aron. All they did with Aron was change the color of the eyes to red. And with Agron, they darkened the gray a little bit. But they really could have done something very different with this to make it more obvious that it is a shiny. So I think this one was a complete fail for them. Another one, I'm not a big fan of the color choice. Props for changing the color. But I think the yellow and the coral color, they clash. And I really think that they made Alakazam or Abra. Abra is just a very pale version of the yellow. So that one was a complete flop. But Alakazam, again, they changed the color, but the colors they chose really weren't great. I think part of the reason is because the Psychic is supposed to be that pink, as you can see in the middle of the screen there is Psychic. So I think that's why they went with that color, but I don't like the color of that one. Another one that I think they could have done better on was Altaria. With Altaria, I think that, like, yes, Swablu is that blue in the original form, and they made it yellow. So again, they changed the color. But I wish with the clouds, they'd maybe made it like a storm cloud, made it a dark color, make it more prominent that this is a different version of the Altaria or Swablu. So I think they could have done better with that one. Ambipom or Apom is the unevolved version of it. This one I think was a complete flop again. They darkened the color a little bit, and that was all they really did. Nothing major, nothing to really say this is a shiny that you should be hunting. One I really do like actually is Amoonguss, which my son calls Among Us. Which is the evolved version of Fungus. And with this one, I love the purple that they chose on this. It really does stick with that poison theme. and I like that the colors really do stand out as being different. So that's a fairly new one, and it's a great addition to the shiny team. Another one here is Ampheros. This was a success. They went and changed the yellow to this purple with the blue accent. Again, it stands out. This is different. This is a shiny. This is one that you should be looking at. And the Mareep version of it, they didn't really make too much of a change with that one, but with the wool, it was a little harder for them, I think, to make a change. But when it gets up to the Ampheros level, I really think it becomes a success. Aerodactyl, this one I really like. I like that with the Spinarak is that purple, and this Aerodactyl, they really did change all the colors to make the colors stand out, make it obvious. This is a great addition to the shiny team, and I will quickly go back and I will show you the shiny version of Spinarak here. So if we go out of my favorites, which I'm having problems doing, then we will take a look at that. So go into here and go Spinarak, and you will see it's purple instead of that green. So I really do like that they have done that and made that very, very different. So great addition to the shiny team with that one. Armaldo, don't like the colors that they chose with this one. Think they could have gone with something that would have been a little bit more attractive, but again, they made it obvious that it's very different from the original. I wish that, to stick with the bug theme, that they had just made it, instead of that blue, made it a bright green. Fail on the color, but good job in changing the color and making it obvious that it is a shiny Pokemon. Another one I really like here is Absol. This one here, I've never actually caught an Absol, so I had to trade for this one. But really, really great looking shiny Pokemon. They've done a very nice job on this one. And another one I love is Azumarill, or Azumarill, the evolution of Marill. I like when you hatch the baby version of this, it is a green. So it's very obvious from that blue, it's actually a green. And then in this version, instead of the blue, it is yellow. So it stands out as being very different. So I think they did a great job with this particular one. Beautifly, the evolution of Wormapole. I like what they've done with this one as well. I think it's a great addition. They changed the colors, made it stand out more. Obviously a shiny from what the original was. So great job, Pokemon Go, with that. And Niantic. Beedrill, the evolution of Weedle. I love the green that they chose for this. I think it's perfect for the bug theme. And the blue eyes just really stand out. So I think they did a fantastic job with this one. And as you can see, the Mega version there is very awesome looking as well. Another one here, Bellossom. They did a good job in this one. They did change the colors of the flowers. So it is obviously a shiny version, different from the original. The Oddish one, I think they kind of failed on. I think they could have done better on the Oddish, which is the unabridged version of this. Yeah, and the mid version of that one as well, they could have done better on that one, but not bad. Beware is one, again, they made it obvious it's a shiny. It's different. Not pink, it's a yellow. So I do like that, and the yellow kind of goes along with that golden bear kind kind of theme, so I do like what they've done with the evolved version of Stuffle. Bibarel, I think, just the evolved version of Bidoof, I think they kind of flopped on this one. They changed the color slightly, but I really think they could have done more to make this a more desirable shiny. And Blastoise, I have this in this version as well as the shiny with the sunglasses. I do like, again, they changed the color. And if they'd gone with a different color, maybe green, I might have liked this a little bit more. But overall, I think they did a decent job with this. And you know, it's kind of a cool one. You can mega it as well, which looks very similar. And Blaziken, this one here, again, they just darkened the colors. That's all they did with this one. So Blaziken and Torchic, they kind of flopped. They really could have done something a lot better to make it more obvious that this is a shiny Pokemon. And Blissey, another one I think they just flopped on. They just made it slightly lighter, and they really could have done something way better with this one here to make it obvious it's a shiny. With the Chansey even, it's still just slightly different. It's kind of got the green. Chansey's a little bit more obvious that it's a shiny. And I kind of wish that they'd carried that Chansey version into the Blissey a little bit more. So added a little more of that green and gray that they kind of went with to make it more obvious that it is a shiny. I can show you Chansey as well here. So if we go to my shiny Pokemon and we type in Chansey, we can see what that one looks like. So this one here, again, they changed the color. It's obvious it's a different Pokemon in terms of the shiny. Whereas Blissey, again, I think they completely flopped on in that one. And so we're going to go back to here and go to shinies. And we will go down and look at Bravery. This one is, again, one of my favorites. I love what they've done with Bravery. The shiny stands out. The blue is fantastic. It goes well with that dark brown that they chose here. And that's the evolved version of Rufflet. So this one was a big success in terms of shinies. I love this one. And then they have the Hussein version, which, again, I love what they've done here. It really looks cool. It stands out. The Hussein versions that they're coming out with of these Pokemon are actually really cool. I hope that they'll do more shinies in those versions because they are really cool. Breloom is another one I think they did a great job on. They made the colors obviously different. They still kept it kind of a mushroomy color, as Shroomish is a mushroom. So it is obvious it is a shiny. So success on Breloom and Shroomish. Bronzong, again, different color. But I think there's a lot more that they could have done on here. I would have liked a blue or maybe a red. I think a lot better than what they chose. So I think Bronzong, the evolution of Bronzor, was kind of a failure on their part. I think they could have done better on that one. And Butterfree, I love what they did with this one. It really does show its shiny and turned a Pokemon that is not necessarily a desirable Pokemon into a more desirable shiny, just because it does look really different and really cool. Camerupt, again, I love what they've done with this one. The color is very different from the original that they went with, and so I think this was a success, even with the Numel version. Yes, I think this is a big success on their part. They made it obvious and was a great change. The other one here is Cast Form. I like the pink that they actually chose on here. It is, again, obviously different. If they had gone with a blue or a green, it might have looked cooler as well. But they did make an effort to make it an obvious change, and no evolution in cast form as of yet. One that I love here is Charizard, and I love that they've gone with the black, and when you mega evolve them, they actually look really, really cool as well. So I think this was a success on their part. And I like the party hat version because the red stands out from the black with this, more so than it does with the orange version. So big success on Charizard and Charmander. Love it. And Charmander is, of course, when he's that yellow version. Another one is Cincino, which is the Mincino version of this. So, you know, it's okay. I think they could have done more to make it obviously a shiny. So I do think they kind of copped out with this one, but it is better than some of the other ones that they have done. Claydol. This one, they did change the colors again, and I like the colors of this one better than I like the colors on the original version. So success on this one, but again, blue might have stood out more, or maybe a green might have stood out just a little bit more, and especially against that dark brown that they have on that. Clefable, the evolution of Clefairy. They gave it the green tips on this, but I think they could have done a lot more to make this obviously a shiny. So I think they kind of failed and copped out on this one. So yeah, I think that Niantic needs to really maybe put out some contests for shinies or new Pokemon, get the crowd more involved in it. I love what they did with Cloyster. They have an obvious change to the color of this one. So a great job, Niantic, on Cloyster and Shelder. It's obvious that it's a shiny, and I like this better than the original even. And another one, Cofagrigus, which is a Yamask evolution. I like what they did with this one. It's obviously a shiny. Looks kind of cool. So success on there. And Combee, this one I do like, and I've got the female version of this as well, which we can look at in a bit here. And so I do like that they darkened it a lot. So they went away from that brighter yellow down to this darker yellow. And if we search up Combee here, the evolution, we can see the Vespiquen. And this one here is a little harder to come by. It is one that is a little bit more desired, because everybody gets the male version of the Combee. So this one here, I do like what they did with that. I think they did a good job on there. And so we will just look at one more here. We'll look at the Crawdilly. Again, they completely changed the colors, but they made it very ugly. So I do not like the colors they chose on here. Props for changing the color, but I think the colors they chose on here clash with each other, and they just look hideous. So props for changing the colors, but just like with Armaldo, the colors they chose is terrible. That, of course, is the evolved version of Lilip. So thank you for tuning in to the first episode here. We will cover more shinies on a different day, probably tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and tune into more Game Breaker episodes.